Here's the highly anticipated, stunning synopsis for The Intruder, the most sensational and remarkable novel of my time. McFadden throws us right into the heart of the thriller. Casey, a former teacher living in a dilapidated cabin in New Hampshire, far from civilization. Threatened by an approaching hurricane, this cabin is a reflection of Casey's own psyche. Isolated from the outside world, shaken by trauma, and in imminent danger of collapse.
The story begins on this stormy night when Casey spots a young girl covered in blood at her window. This mysterious guest refuses to let go of her knife and reveal her origins.
This is one of McFadden's famous hooks, which grips the reader from the very beginning. On one side, a woman struggling to survive, fleeing her past. On the other, a child filled with secrets and potentially dangerous. This confined space tension is one of the author's most potent weapons. Yes, today on our Daily Books channel, we will be reviewing Freida McFadden's The Intruder and its characters.
And what a setup it is. A classic, almost claustrophobic nightmare scenario right from the get-go.
Absolutely. This cabin in New Hampshire, so far from everything, it feels like a character itself.
It really does, and it perfectly mirrors Casey's internal state, doesn't it? Isolated, fragile, like you said, shaken by past trauma, and kind of on the brink of collapsing.
Exactly. And then, bam, the storm hits, and this girl appears covered in blood, won't let go of a knife.
Yeah, talk about an entrance. It hooks you immediately. You've got Casey fleeing her own past, so suddenly trapped with this kid who is just radiating danger and secrets. It's classic McFadden tension.
So before we dive deeper into the plot twists, maybe we should talk a bit about Freida McFadden herself, because she has quite the reputation.
Oh, absolutely. She's incredibly prolific, hugely successful. You probably know The Housemaid, international bestseller, movie in the works.
Right, that one was everywhere.
Exactly. But what's really fascinating, and I think gives her thrillers this unique edge, is her day job.
Oh.
She's a practicing physician, specializes in brain injury.
Wow. Okay, that definitely adds a layer. You can see how that insight might inform her writing, especially around trauma.
Precisely. I mean, think about it. She deals professionally with the physical and psychological aftermath of trauma. That gives her this almost clinical understanding of how people react under extreme stress, the fight or flight stuff.
That makes so much sense. And you see it in the setup, right?
Yeah.
Even before the girl arrives, Casey's already on edge.
Yeah, she's living off-grid. The cabin's falling apart. She's worried about the roof, this ominously swaying tree outside. The environment itself is already tense.
So the baseline anxiety is already high.
Exactly. Which means when the actual intruder shows up, that tension just skyrockets.
Okay, so Casey finds the girl, not at the window anymore, but hiding in the tool shed.
Right, hiding. And she's soaked. Looks like she hasn't eaten properly in ages, and yeah, the blood.
The girl, Eleanor, or Nell, says it's just a nosebleed.
But Casey doesn't buy it. And the kid won't let go of this switchblade she's clutching. Plus, she's got this backpack, also kind of blood-soaked, that she will not put down.
Every instinct should be screaming, danger, right? Call the police.
Absolutely. But this is where it gets interesting. Casey's compassion, or maybe recognition, overrides that. She sees these old scars on Eleanor's arms, circular cigarette burns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Clear clinical signs of severe, long-term child abuse, and Casey recognizes it instantly. This feels like where McFadden's medical background really comes into play. It's specific, horrifying detail.
So instead of kicking her out, she helps her.
She lets her inside, feeds her the girl is starving, and then she makes this promise, an infinity promise, she calls it, not to tell anyone Nell is there.
An infinity promise.
Yeah.
That sounds loaded, rooted in something personal.
Exactly, and that's where the dual timeline comes in, which McFadden uses really effectively here.
Right, the before and now chapters.
Yeah. So the before chapters introduce us to Ella. She's an 8th grader back in Medford, Massachusetts, living in just horrific conditions.
Squalor, right, with a hoarder mother.
A compulsive hoarder and severely abusive mother. Her go-to punishment is locking Ella in this disgusting dark closet for hours, sometimes days.
Jesus, okay, so that explains Casey's, or Ella's reaction, why she'd risk protecting this girl.
It grounds her motivation, it makes sense of that infinity promise, and then the environment plays another crucial role. Remember that shaky tree?
The one Casey was worried about. Don't tell me.
Yep. While they're inside, the storm finally brings it down, crashes right onto the tool shed where Nell was hiding just moments before.
Whoa, so Casey literally saved her life by bringing her in.
Pretty much. And now the storm has trapped them together, it forces the confrontation, cuts them off completely. It's both literal and symbolic of the emotional turmoil.
That forced proximity. Things must escalate quickly.
Oh, they do, and the suspicion completely flips.
This is where it gets really intense, right? The first big reveal.
This is it. Casey manages to get a look inside Nell's backpack while the girl is distracted.
And she finds.
Bloody clothes, confirming the nosebleed was a lie, and worse, a green notebook.
What's in the notebook?
Drawings, really graphic drawings of a woman being tortured, killed. And Casey looks at them and is convinced the woman depicted is her.
Oh my God. So she thinks this kid she just saved is planning to murder her.
Exactly. And then she realizes her Glock, her handgun, is missing from her dresser drawer.
No.
Yes, absolute terror. She tries to sneak out, make a break for it.
But it's too late.
Too late. Nell is awake, and she's holding Casey's Glock on her.
Wow. Okay. That's a hell of a cliffhanger moment.
Ah,
But you said the suspicion flips. So the drawings aren't of Casey.
correct. That's the first major twist. The woman in the drawings isn't Casey at all. And remember, Nell had a map.
Yeah, Casey found a map earlier, I think.
Right. Casey assumed it led to her cabin, but it didn't. It led to her neighbor's place, a guy named Lee Trainer.
Okay, so the target was the neighbor. But why come to Casey's cabin then? Was it just a mistake?
Not quite a mistake. It's all connected. But the big reveal, the one that just turns everything upside down,
Yeah.
it's about Casey herself.
Go on.
Casey is Ella.
Wait, Ella. The girl from the before chapters. The one locked in the closet.
The very same. She wasn't just locked in the closet that last time. She picked the lock, something her childhood friend Anton taught her. She barricaded the stairs so her mother couldn't escape. And she set the house on fire, killed her.
Whoa. Okay, so she's not just a victim. She committed arson, murder,
Yeah.
and then she just disappeared.
Took on a new identity. Elizabeth Casey moved away, tried to build a new life off the grid, running from her past, literally.
Okay, wait, so does this make her completely unrelatable now? I mean, the book makes you feel for Ella, but then murder, arson. Some critics called Casey unlikable. Is this why?
It's definitely where the moral complexity ramps up. I think McFadden walks a really fine line. Casey's actions are extreme, yes, but her motivation, especially taking in Nell, stems directly from her own experience of abuse. It's turned into this fierce, almost distorted protectiveness.
Like a vigilante impulse.
Exactly. Remember earlier, we learned Casey got fired from her teaching job.
Oh yeah, why was that again?
She saw one of her students being abused, felt the system wasn't helping, so she took matters into her own hands and smashed up the abusive parent's car, who happened to be a police officer.
So she has a history of this, taking justice, or maybe vengeance, into her own hands when she sees abuse.
Right. Her methods are criminal, destructive even, but her targets are always abusers. It doesn't make her good, but it makes her understandable, maybe, even if unlikable to some.
Okay, so that context is crucial. It sets up the confrontation over at Lee Trainor's cabin, right?
Eh.
Casey must race over there after the gun incident.
She does. She gets there, and Nell is holding Lee at gunpoint, accusing him of being her deadbeat dad who abandoned her.
Is he?
No, Lee denies it. He tells Nell that his brother, who is deceased, was actually her father.
Oh man. So Nell's completely devastated.
Completely, and she finally confesses the whole story. Her mother, Jolene, was abusive too. Jolene's latest boyfriend, Jax, also abusive, stabbed Jolene during a fight. Nell panicked, covered in her mother's blood, grabbed the map to find the man she thought was her father, Lee, and ran.
So Nell didn't actually kill anyone. She was fleeing a violent scene.
Right. But then comes, well, Casey's darkest moment.
Darker than burning her own mother alive.
Arguably, yeah, because this is cold, calculated.
Mhm.
Casey leaves Nell with Lee and drives all the way back to Massachusetts. She finds Jolene, Nell's mother.
Is Jolene dead?
No, alive, badly wounded from the stabbing, but alive. And Casey talks to her and sees absolutely zero remorse in Jolene for how she treated Nell, for the abuse, for the burns,
And Casey snaps.
more like. Executes. She takes one of Jolene's cigarettes and burns Jolene's arm, deliberately mirroring the scars Jolene inflicted on Nell. Then she kills her,
And frames the boyfriend, Jax.
stages the scene perfectly, then drives back to New Hampshire, where Lee Trainer willingly provides her with a rock-solid alibi.
Wow. So Lee is complicit in murder now. This cycle of violence, it's just layer upon layer.
It really is violent vengeance, as you said. But hold on, because there's one more massive twist, the one that ties literally everyone together.
Seriously. What else could there be?
Okay, fast forward 6 months. Things have settled. Casey is homeschooling Nell, trying to build some kind of life. Nell shows Casey a picture of her father, the deceased brother Lee mentioned.
And Casey recognizes him?
Instantly, it's Anton Peterson.
Anton, her childhood friend. the boy from the before chapters who taught her to pick locks, her first love.
The very same. The one who went to juvie protecting her back then.
Okay, my head is spinning. What about Lee then? How does he fit into this?
Lee Traynor isn't his real name. His real name is Bradley Peterson. Brad. He's Anton's younger brother.
What? So Lee is Anton's brother, and Anton isn't dead.
Not dead. He's serving a life sentence for murder.
Let me guess. He killed their abusive father.
Bingo. Years ago to protect young Brad. While in prison, Anton saw a news report about Ella Casey, our Casey, getting into trouble, the car smashing incident. He worried about her, the girl he never forgot.
So he asked his brother.
He begged Brad, now using the name Lee Traynor, to move near Casey to find her cabin and just watch over her secretly, keep her safe.
Unbelievable. So Lee Brad has known who Casey Ella was this entire time. He moved there specifically for her, watched her, kept her secrets, and is now covering up a murder for her. All because his brother asked him to.
Pretty much. Although it's implied Lee Brad has also developed his own feelings for Casey now. But yeah, it's this incredibly tangled web woven entirely from shared trauma, secrets, and acts of violent protection.
Wow, okay. There's a lot of twists.
Yeah.
I can see why McFadden is known for them. How did readers and critics react to all this complexity?
It's mixed, as you might expect. Most readers find it super addictive, a real page-turner. They praise McFadden as a master of pacing, and, the exploration of trauma is definitely powerful, haunting even. But some critics, and readers too, felt the middle section dragged a bit, and that ending, while shocking, relies on a lot of coincidences stacking up. Plus, honestly, the name changes. Ella becomes Elizabeth, becomes Casey. Eleanor is Nell. Lee is Brad, is Bradley. It got confusing for some people to keep track of who was who.
Yeah, I can see that. You almost need a scorecard.
Right. But setting aside the plot mechanics, the core theme really resonates.
The cycle of violence. Inherited trauma.
Exactly. That's the heart of it. Like we talked about, Casey kills her abusive mother. Anton kills his abusive father. Casey kills Nell's abusive mother. It's this pattern of violence begetting violence, often framed as a form of twisted justice. The abuse avengers, one called them.
It's dark, but kind of fitting. And McFadden manages to make you feel for these characters despite their actions.
She does, surprisingly well. There's real moral ambiguity here. You empathize with Casey, with Anton, even with Lee, despite the terrible things they've done. It avoids easy answers, avoids simple good versus evil. It shows how victims can become perpetrators, but still retain, their humanity, their understandable motivation.
So thinking about all this,
Yeah.
what's the final takeaway for you, the listener? We're left with this very strange found family, right? Casey Ella, Lee Brad, and Eleanor.
A family unit forged entirely in trauma, secrets, murder, and vigilante justice.
Which leads to the provocative question, I guess. Can a future built on such foundations ever truly break that cycle of violence? Or are they, by the very nature of how they came together, doomed to repeat it somehow? Something to really mull over.
Definitely something to think about long after you finish the book.
We reviewed the most anticipated book of the last period on our Daily Books channel. If you like this episode, please let us know in the comments. Until we see you in the next book, stay with the book. Goodbye.